Hi again. I hope you are well today. I just want to continue where we left off regarding recording music for hobbies. Last or yesterday, I was about to show you the equipment, and then I had to stop. So I'll show you everything that you need to know. Hopefully, I'll finish, but somehow this seems to be quite a big thing. Maybe I undermined it, but let's take it as it comes. Okay, this is the MIDI keyboard I was about to show you. The brand is Akai. There are other brands that you can find in the market, and maybe some are more sophisticated than this one. So this is it. It comes with settings, different settings. Here you've got your pitch bender, arpeggiation buttons, and then you have your what do you call this thing, octave. Because it's a short keyboard, it's a very short keyboard, which means that if this is your bass clef, then you might not have a middle section and the treble or the feather, the higher registers of the keyboard. So that's why you will need to have these buttons so that you can shift and get the rest of the range that you find on the 88 key keyboard or piano. So, well, to tell you the truth, I do not know most of these buttons, what they do, and I have not been interested to find out, because I've been recording using an electric piano. So, and I only needed a piano and an electric piano on it, not more than that. So this is the first time I use this, just this alone, and this is not mine. So, but I'm enjoying things like these ones, these pads. I'm enjoying these pads because I'm able to use a drumstick as well on them. I can even use a drumstick on these, or my finger, simply my finger sometimes. So I like them very much. Well, yeah, I enjoy them very much. This is not a weighted keyboard like the piano that I normally use, which I like very much. This is really a limitation for me because of the tiny size of keys and the sensitivity issues sometimes, or velocity. When sometimes I can't control velocity, I will explain some other time what velocity is, but it's about the loudness of the key. Yeah, it's about the loudness of the key. Sometimes I can't control it. Sometimes I'll hit the key and get a loud velocity while I was trying to play softly. So it has those kinds of limitations, but it's still a good tool, a good instrument, a good equipment. So not really bad mouthing it. It has its uses as well. As I explained yesterday, if you are traveling, this is really good. And I undermined it as well, like how I undermined GarageBand. This is quite good, really good. I like it now. So, okay, let's have a look at the back. Okay, it's a brand name. Okay, the back, you remember, oh, I did not show you this. You've got a sustain pedal input there. Yeah, input, and then you have your USB input output there, so, or port, USB port there, so that you can connect this onto your digital audio workstation, DAW, or your computer. software. So it works with the software, the actual music recording software. The keyboard works with that, with the software. So these things are amazing. They may look small and simple sometimes, but they're very much amazing. And again, I realized that yesterday you could not really see my speakers. It's very simple speakers, Samsung speakers, or monitors. The right word for that is used in the recording industry is monitors, studio monitors. These are studio monitors that I use, and most people that I've met who are in the music industry or recording, they can tell you that, or even books that I read or magazines that I've read about recording, they will tell you that monitors tell you the truth about your sound. They tell you the truth about the sound, which means that every recording person or artist needs to have proper monitors that are made for recording, for sound recording, because they are made so that they are able to cater for different frequencies or to cover a range of frequencies that music has or audio has. So whenever I'm recording, I trust these monitors. So whatever comes out, I know that it's what the radio, if it's playing on radio, right, on public radio, I know that that's what's gonna sound. If I'm playing it in my car, that's what's gonna sound. If I play it in any headphone, that's what's gonna sound. It's not gonna sound different from these monitors. So it's a very good tool and equipment to have if you are a recording artist. Another thing that I forgot to talk about yesterday was headphones. I'm using this brand Sennheiser. I bought it. Most of the things that I am using, I bought over 10 years ago. So, but I can tell you that these have really treated me very well. You can see that they've got tapes now because this pad was coming off, and small tiny things are very important. That pad, you can't really be comfortable recording without that pad. You need it, otherwise you are going to be having discomfort in top of your skull because the padding is not there. So these are very necessary. So, and these I've repaired them a number of times. I do my own repairs, and what I repair is mainly wires. These wires, these I bought from a Chinese shop. So they have a lot of a wide range of cables. So I bought these ones. They were for RCL. They were RCL. So what I did, RCL cables. What I did, I cut. Or it was RCL to this. To this, to quarter inch to 8 inch. 8 inch. Is this quarter inch or 8 inch? Well, to the jack, basically, for your headphones. To the jack for your headphones. So I cut the other side and connected it onto the microphone or to the earphone or headphone speakers. So I've done that maybe over the last 10 years, maybe 3 times, because wires always break, and I've done them for other friends of mine. So and my family, I always repair these for my family as well. These never break when it comes to my studio. They never ever break because I always can repair them all the time. I'm lucky to have that skill of being able to repair such things. Okay, this is our, okay, I showed you my headphones, Sennheiser HD22, very good headphones. Oh, well, I said something about monitors. Monitors are great because they tell you the truth. And these headphones are also good because you get the clarity of sound, but you still cannot trust them. They are not above monitors. That's my advice. They are not above monitors. Monitors are your last line of defense, if you want to call it that, when it comes to sound. It's your last line of defense. So you have to have good monitors. And these have been great. They've been less, they were not really too expensive because I could afford them. Being an ordinary person, I could afford these monitors. So headphones, I don't rely on them too much. I rely on them when I'm recording, but when I'm doing playback and wanting to figure out, when I want to figure out the true sound that I've recorded, then I use monitors, and then I will do my adjustments while the monitor is running. If there's something that's louder than others, or a snare has a problem, or it's louder, then I will reduce, but based on the sound that the monitors give me. I don't rely on the headphones for that feedback. I rely on the monitors, and they're always on point. They never disappoint. Okay. Again, that's my adapter. I don't know if I showed you. I don't think I showed you this adapter. That's my adapter for USBs, because Macs have limited ports at the back for input outputs. So I use this adapter. And also we have this unit, Behringer preamp for headphones. You get also preamp for microphones, but this one is for headphones. It's an amplifier basically that is used because of the distance between the computer and where the headphone is going to be. So it amplifies the sound because it loses what do you call this thing? What is this electronic? I forgot these terms. Sound is lost during because of the length of the cables. You get a loss in the quality of the sound. So you need to have an amplifier to re-amplify that sound at a further distance. That's why you need preamps. If you are going to have microphones in a huge studio, microphones that are stationed far away from where the recording desk is, or the mixer is, or the digital workstation is, then you need again the preamp so that you can boost the signal from the mic to your system. So preamps are either for microphones or for headphones, right? What else? Okay, so we've spoken about these things that are in our in front of us. Okay, another thing that is very important is the pedal. I'll show you. It's behind this
below
platform, this table. That's our pedal. It's a very good brand. The name is P. I know that it starts with P. It's Prowell, yes, or Prowell brand. It's a good brand. It's very heavy. That's why when you're traveling, it's gonna be a huge weight inside your bag. So the best thing is to find those light ones, those lighter weight pedals. Yamaha used to have that, has that actually. because my keyboard has that small lightweight pedal, although the quality of that one I'm not happy. That's why I changed it to this one. I'm not happy about that quality, but I'm sure you can get other brands that are lightweight that you can use when you're traveling and you want to record. And then we have our microphone. Our microphone. They always say microphones are speakers in reverse, which is true. The same technology, but in reverse. We can explain that in another day, on another day. Okay, our microphone is a Carol brand microphone, very simple microphone. Carol brand. Can you zoom into this on it? Yeah. Okay. It's a simple brand. I started with fancy stuff, but now I'm just keeping very basic stuff, and I'm happy with that because it does the job. So I guess that is experience, I suppose. Yeah. So where do I connect this microphone? I connect it on my monitors. On the side of monitors, I've got two inputs for microphones, this one and this one. And that input is also accept a jack plug.
A quarter inch.
So it also accepts that, and it also accepts a microphone cable, a
XLR
microphone cable.
connector.
So these speakers are good because they are not just monitors, of which sometimes you get a monitor that is only a monitor, but these ones are both a monitor and an interface, a sound interface or a sound card. They're both. So they offer you a lot. That's why it's a very cost-effective system that gives you a lot in a lot of equipment in a few items that you can keep in your home studio. So it's a very good system that is a minimalist. Yes. And so yes, that's how you connect your microphone there. And then our headphones, we run them from here, and the output from the headphones, I take it from there and I run it to the input on the preamp, headphone preamp, and then these are outputs. The rest that you see here are outputs, these ones, where you can connect your headphone, and this will be your power to the unit, right? So, okay, let's have a look at the studio itself now, or the digital workstation itself. This is our digital workstation, the GarageBand digital workstation. On it, I don't know if you can see the mouse, the cursor. On this, you've got your normal file. When you open it the normal way, you know how you open software on the computer, on any computer. You do the same. You click on it on your desktop, and then it opens this screen. But it doesn't just open the screen. Maybe let me just close this up first. Let me close it so that you would be able to know how it's happening. Okay, it's just open a new file, so that you can see how these things happen. Let me hide stuff here so that you don't see what you don't need to see. Amagama abantu, igama lomuntu imali, ngaze ngiboshwe. Let me hide these things here. Okay, let me hide these things. Hey, nami nezinto eziningi. Okay. Right. Okay. What is this? Oh, okay. Oh. Okay. Right. Okay. This is what happens. This is what you see when you click on the desktop. This is what GarageBand opens up. It opens up the screen, and then on it you've got an empty project. So you click on this empty project, you double click on it, and then it will open another page or another window where you would be able to set up your instruments that you need your studio to have. My Mac takes a long time, so you forgive me for that. So yeah. Another thing I forgot to tell you is that these speakers work off the USB cabling system. So they are connected to the computer via the USB. So it's a very, very simple system. I always say to people I meet that there's never been a better time as this regarding technology. Even our fathers, when they were to rise from their graves, they would be surprised as to how much we have progressed, how much life has been easy, have become so easy, and it's so unbelievable. I don't know if there is someone who doesn't realize that life has become super easy. How are they not realizing that? Because today we have AI, which makes it even way too easy. We are able uh, to edit documents. We are able to create a lot of things, videos, photos, applications. It's just so unbelievable. The arrival of the smartphone, that was in 2009, or 2008, was amazing. 2009 actually was the beginning, because I remember when we first had them. It was so amazing. I actually said the same words then, that there's never a better time as that one, because you could do just about everything. And today that smartphone has progressed even further, and it's able to do amazing things today. So if we are in business and we are not embracing technology, I give up, because it's easy. And I don't know if this window is going to close at some point in the future, because everything gets saturated as time goes on. So if you are to embrace technology, embrace it now, or else you will lose out. So yeah, so these systems are benefiting from the developments in technology globally, so which is amazing. I need to show you also the books that I used in my early years when I was trying to read about music recording. Books that have really benefited me greatly, that have given me the knowledge that I have today. Some things like miking technique, the 20 centimeter distance between the microphone and the person, the drumming, how do you mic the drums, although I do not really keep that information too much because I don't have drums, but I sort of know how to deal with the punch of the kick, to adjust those things like that, the sounds, such a way that my records sound like live recorded music, as opposed to synthetic digital music, right? Created music. So those books helped a lot in teaching me how to get the right sound, and to not be afraid of recording all the terms between recording, mixing, and mastering, because they are not that complicated really. But in the past, or in the bigger industry, in the actual bigger industry, music industry, then there's specialization where you'll have a mastering engineer, a mixing engineer, and a recording engineer. It makes sense. It makes sense because in my experience doing recording, I've realized that recording itself, because I do the whole value chain, right? The whole music value chain, except making instruments, of which I still wish to make one instrument myself, like Dr. Dlamini, Sazi Dlamini makes Makweyan. I wish to make my own from scratch, something new that has never existed. I wish to make such an instrument in the future. So I cater for the whole value chain, which means that I am a singer and I play an instrument and I also record it and mix it and master it, which is very tiring to do all those things. I don't end there. I continue to create my own graphics for the distribution or the publication of my music. I do that because, again, yesterday I did say in the video that I'm a hobbyist, music hobbyist, or recording hobbyist as well. And so for me, cost has to be contained. So I have to control the cost of doing these things that I like. So I try to not pay actually. So if I buy equipment that has everything, then it's a win for me. But if I have to pay, I do pay, because sometimes limitations in certain things that I require, then they need me to pay. See, so I do pay when I need to. But advise not to when you're a hobbyist. I really advise to. Otherwise, you are going to be stressed by something you are not trying to make money off. So yeah. So this is what has opened up when we clicked on project, on the empty project. It shows us our MIDI. This is your instrument, our keyboard, right? And then it shows us a section for drums. If you are recording drums, real drums, that this is the section you are going to open up. This is real drums, not MIDI drums, right? And this section is your microphone, right? Online. And this section is your real guitar, which means that you are going to connect your guitar. And a guitar, normally guitars are connected via an amplifier. What do you call it? DI box? Yes, they are connected via a DI box. Impedance. I know with bass guitars, but I don't know about the leads and all the other guitars. But I suppose it should be the same thing. You have to have a DI box so that it will interface with, because it will interface with your interface, with your digital workstation interface. When you have to consider the rules in the electronics field, then you'll know that there's issues of impedances, different impedances for different instruments. So some of these instruments, they need an interface in order to be able to work with others. So you might need something in between, and then you are okay, and you can use it once you have that in between system. Okay, once we are here, then we click on, okay, again it shows you that screen there. That screen, we are going to see it throughout. I'll explain it later. We still have time for this video. Okay, let's click on MIDI quickly so that you can be able to see our main screen. Okay, we click on MIDI and then it will open a new window once we do that. Okay, here's our new window. This defaults to an electric piano, classic piano, classic electric piano, which is more like your Rhodes piano. Rhodes piano are pianos that came out in the 70s. Herbie Hancock, the jazz pianist, who started using these systems, these kinds of pianos, and popularized them in the 70s. So the GarageBand defaults to it. It defaults to it, and then okay, let's go back to this window here. So this window shows you the number of bars, and your bars will be these ones, recording bars. The bars, this is where your music gets recorded and it stays there in memory. It stays there as you record. It goes on. This is the timeline, and you can change that to minutes, hours, minutes, and seconds, going that way. Your right, on your right hand side. So as you record, this meter goes that direction while you do your recording, and then depends on how long is the track. These are called your tracks. Sometimes with other things, systems like Pro Tools, they are not as horizontal as this one. They are vertical. Your tracks are vertical. You get tracks that are vertical. I don't know if you've seen. Actually, if you've seen the traditional mixers, hardware mixers that you see in studios, you may even have seen it on TV. They are all vertical. The tracks are all vertical, so these ones have been put that way, horizontal. So it is still the same thing. It's okay, right? So these are bars, right? These are bars. Lots of bars in here, right? And these bars depend on the time signature. So you set that up. And how do you do that? You have options, right? You can choose a 3/4. If your song is a 3/4, which means that it's a 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, a waltz kind of song, then you'll use this one. If it's a 4/4, a 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 song, then you use this 4/4. If it's a 5/4, which is an odd time or meter, then you say 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5. They call these things or the terms that I use, it's 3 beats in a bar, right? 4 beats in a bar, 5 beats in a bar of 4 of quarter notes, right? In a bar of quarter notes. And then you've got your 6/8, 6 beats, 8 beats, which means that it's a bar of 8 beats. That's the mathematics of music, and it's quite complicated. I studied engineering, and there's nothing that has been so difficult as music for me. While music is about maths as well. Maybe there's laziness on my part. I don't know, but there's a lot of mathematics, and definitely mathematics. So you must be able to count, because if you can count these things, you know what's a quarter, what is an eighth, what is a 16th, what is a 32, 32nd, or whatever. Then you would know how to divide your notes, or to put them at the right places in your bars. Because sometimes when you record, notes delay because of the distance between your piano or your keyboard and the digital workstation, because of distance. Because a note or a musical input like a voice, when you are recording on a microphone, that voice travels a distance to the computer through the cable. The cable is about how many meters? 5 meters? Mine is too long, 5 meters. Sometimes it's 3 meters, but it takes that distance, and that's a delay. So you have to correct that recording, and you need to know how to correct it, which means that you need to know your beats in a bar, so that you know where to put these things, whether your song has what you call these things, whether your song has I forgot. Okay, forget it. Right. Okay, and then you have your tempo, which is here defaulting to 120 beats per second, which means that it counts 120 beats every, is it beat per minute? Yeah, BPM, man. Not beats per second, beats per minute, right? Beats per minute. So every minute it counts 120. Every minute it counts 120. That's what this tempo is like. You can adjust it to less or to bigger than 120, right? So you can't do 224. That's too much. 144, I know that Giant Steps in one of the fake books or real books is a 144. So I'm not sure whether that's its real meter or it's just the fake books meter or the real books meter. So yeah. And then you've got your metronome there. The ones that, okay, maybe let's open it. Let's do the counting of the tempo. That's the metronome sound that you hear. This is the metronome sound. It's the one that is helping you to be able to record a perfect sound without delays and mistakes, right? You can be on the beat or on. You can record where your sound sits at the right spot, not at a spot that will be uncomfortable to the listener when they realize that we are offbeat or something like that. Because listeners are amazing. You cannot undermine them because they were created by God to be sensors of harmony, of correctness, and all that stuff. So they are able to pick up mistakes that are made because of being offbeat. Well, you can go and philosophize and say that even in life you need to be not offbeat, not offside if you're talking soccer and so on. So you can go on and theorize on those things. Okay, what else? All right, so this is your track, right, with bars where the sound is gonna go, and you know the time, a 4/4. It's a 4/4 time. You're sitting on 124. You see, I'm doing many things at once. So that number here helps you to count before the recording begins. So if you have it and you press the record button, that counter begins. That 1, 2, 3, 4 counter is the one that goes before you can actually begin to record. I don't use it that much because sometimes it delays. I don't know what causes its delay, or maybe it's because my computer is slow, but I don't use it much. I prefer using the metronome, to listen to the metronome counting those beats for me, and then I begin to do my recording, right? Okay, now at the bottom of the screen, the bottom of your screen, you get your controls there. These currently we have the piano selected, the piano track selected. So the controls that you see there are piano controls, electric piano controls. Your bell, your treble, your drive, your bass, your tremolo, your ambience, reverb, and chorus. These are filters that you use to tweak the sound of your piano, like in a synthesizer, which means that you can individualize the sound that you get from your piano using these knobs, digital knobs, right? That's for your piano. And then here you've got other settings here for that track in blue selected. You can select keyboard sensitivity. You can open other plugins that you can add there. Plugins are additional audio editing tools that are able to enhance your sound. So you add them there. All your plugins are added there. The actual keyboard itself in this software, it is a plugin because the software itself is not a keyboard. So everything that you put on this is a plugin that is going to be enhancing your sound or contributing to your sound. It's going to be a plugin. Okay. In the olden days, my niece used to say that in the olden days, when she wants to ask about how we used to live, how we used to be long ago, she would say those words. So in the olden days, we used to have plugins that are physical hardware that were connected to the actual physical studio, physical tape recording system, or physical CD recording system, or physical hard computer, whereby you added maybe additional sounds. Yesterday I spoke about the Roland brand sound card or sound interface, a unit that used to have lots of sounds that you could use in your creations as an artist, as a music artist. So Roland used to have that kind of plugin. That sound card was a plugin. There were other plugins that you would use if you needed maybe a filter. Then I'm sure there were other filters that you could plug in at the back of your system or back of your every track in order to adjust those tracks and give them a certain character. A certain character, yes. So plugins are now digital. They used to be hardware in the past, but they are now digital, right? So I'm learning, so I keep on repeating myself. So please forgive me. Sooner or later, I will just say the word once instead of 2 times. So I realized that yesterday when I was listening to myself, realized that why are you repeating these words twice? You're boring people. So yes, but okay, we will improve as time goes on. Okay, forget about me. Okay, on the left hand side of the keyboard is the sounds themselves. Right now it's electric piano that is selected, and then below it is another electric piano and another and another and another. If I want to change this to an acoustic piano, a plugin for the acoustic piano, then I will go. Okay, let's just man, let's okay. I go there to the bottom of this. Is there any way of going back on this thing so that you can see how it's done? Okay, let me do this. Okay, let me not do this because I'll confuse you. Okay, right. There was a back button there that I pressed that gets me back to the main screen where I get all the sounds, where I get all the options, the whole menu of other instruments that I may wish to use. Okay, on top is your bass, and bass has several options. You can choose different bass instruments. You can see lots of them there. So okay, let's go back. Okay, that's my back button, so that's where I click in order to go back to the menu. And then I have electronic drums, I've got guitar, keyboard, mallet, orchestral equipments, things like horns belong here. You'll find them here, and other orchestral instruments. They are here. Percussions, piano. Here's my favorite piano. And when I use piano, I always use Steinway grand piano. And you know, or you might have seen the Steinway brand being played by some of the artists that we know and that we love. It's a very popular American brand of pianos, of acoustic pianos. So GarageBand was able to sample this sound and give us and then and give it to us as well, who are using digital workstations. So I use that a lot of times. I use it and that electric piano. I like both instruments, to use both of those instruments. Although I sometimes go funk and choose other instruments as well, but this is my staple. Or these two pianos are my staple. I always use them all the time. Okay, normally when I record, then I use this piano, and then I will add a bass guitar or an upright bass, right? Upright bass, big bass that you see in jazz and ensembles. I choose that sound because I use the jazz sound in my music more than other sounds. So that's why I choose the upright bass in most cases. But sometimes I would choose an electric bass as well, depending on what sound I am trying to create. When I work with electronic instruments, then I might use the electric bass more with the electric piano and your acoustic drums, right? I'll use those things. But when I'm using acoustic instruments, I prefer only acoustic instruments. It will be an acoustic Steinway piano, and then acoustic bass guitar and your drums, which are, well, acoustic as well by their nature, right? But it's all synthetic here. It's all digitized. It's no more. It's not the real things, although they give you the almost the real sound, if it's not sometimes the actual sound. So they were saying something in one of the reviews, instrument reviews, about the pianos. The piano, electric piano that I used to create a lot of my music was Yamaha P45. P45, yeah, I just forget about these names. See, I buy something once and then forget about the name. But it's a Yamaha keyboard. It's a really good keyboard. And someone was saying online in one of the YouTube reviews that electric pianos have, in some cases, have surpassed your traditional acoustic pianos. And that was, for me, interesting to know, because my keyboard, in my own assessment, my own view, is amazing. I I always enjoy playing it as opposed to playing the real piano. There are some nice pianos that I've touched before that feel great. Uh, but again, I'm not someone who's played a lot of acoustic pianos. But the keyboard is amazing. It feels great. It's weighted keys. It's 88 keys like the piano, and it has and it feels like it basically. Even your higher register notes, the last notes on the keyboard, they feel like the ones from the real piano. So that's how good keyboards are these days. You can actually have it and enjoy it and feel like it's the only instrument that you really are comfortable with, as opposed to playing the real thing, if we may call it that, right? I have another piano, a grand piano that I bought on auction.
It's upright.
Uh, but I don't keep it here because the space is not allowing. So uh, I don't feel as great and as when I play the electric keyboard on that traditional piano, upright piano. My keyboard still is what I'm comfortable with. So there is that too when it comes to instruments. I don't think people should ever think that there is a better instrument. I think an instrument is better because you feel great at playing it or you're comfortable with it. Even your renowned artists that we all know, South African and global, they have choices when it comes to instruments. Some do not, when they are doing their tech rider, which is their recommendations to the venue, they request that a certain piano be sourced for them because that's the piano they are comfortable to play. Some artists, we've heard that they refused to play when the piano they requested was not provided. So people have different options. I suppose that if I were to play live piano, I might not want to play my keyboard because aesthetically it may look too tiny depending on the venue, especially on a big venue. It might be too tiny on stage if I'm playing with a trio, right? So I think aesthetics matter too. I'm not saying that what I'm saying is gospel, but for me, looking at the architectural interior design kind of a mindset, looking at it in that kind of mindset, I would say that I keep on touching the microphone. You see, I'm not used to these things. In my interior design kind of mindset, or wearing that hat, I would want to see a grand piano on a big stage because it fills the stage, as opposed to have this tiny thing that leaves a lot of space on stage. But that is subjective again, right? It is quite subjective. Okay, now we have that piano track. Let's add another track without wasting too much time. Let's add. I would normally, actually, I do not even add another track. You can add another track the same way as we've added the initial track, right? The default track. But I do not normally do that on GarageBand. I only go to the track itself, the track that is there already, and I right click on it, and then I go to a new track with duplicate settings. I just create another track that is a copy of the other one, and I create another one again in the same way. And then now I've got 3 tracks. If I'm recording a jazz kind of trio, then I'll have 3 tracks because a trio is 3 musicians or 3 instruments, right? Or 3 instrument players. So we'll have our piano there, and then we'll modify the second track from piano to the bass. So what do I do? I go down there on the left hand side of GarageBand and go there and press that piano, which is actually a back button. It goes back to the menu. So, and then it opens this big menu, and then I choose bass. And as I've said before, I always prefer the upright bass, studio bass, the one at the bottom. So that's what I'm choosing, and then it appears up there, and then it will appear also on the track itself. And then let us change the last one, and then let's select the third track and go to the bottom left again, and then select drums in our menu. When I select drums, you can choose any of these ones, but I choose this one because it gives me traditional drums. So the other drums, you find that some of them are different. They are not really traditional. There are other fancy kinds of drums. Sometimes you might find that's there. It's not traditional. So this first one, this Blue Braid, and Blue Ridge used to be okay. I don't know why Blue Ridge needs to be downloaded now, but it was okay as well. And Blue Ridge, I don't know, Brooklyn, I've never used it, but you can test it if you have GarageBand, you can test it and see how it sounds. And then once we have these three instruments, what I do, because I don't want to be confused, sometimes we are doing an edit. Here's our three tracks, right? Track number 1, track number 2, and track number 3, right? So sometimes you want to do an edit, and because of the color, you get confused and edit your piano instead of editing your bass or editing your drums, and then you mess up your recording. Maybe you were happy about your recording and it was your final take, and then you realize that because of being confused by the colors, you mess it up, and then you have a bad day actually. So what I do, I go to the second track, bass track, to change the color of the track. This is another thing that is nice about GarageBand. You can change the color of the track. Okay, here is your assigned track color. Then it gives you a huge, long array of rainbow colors. And then you have to choose it. And normally for the bass, I always choose that top left corner orange, and then go to the bass. You can see that it has already changed the color. And then for the drums, I select the drums, then and go to the colors again. Once you open the pad, the color pad, it stays open until you close it. So you can move to the next track that needs to be changed color, and the pad is still there for you to just select instead of reopening the color pad. So it's there for you to just continue changing the colors without reopening it. So for drums, I always choose the furthest right top corner, and then every other instrument that I'm ever going to choose, if it's a guitar, it's going to be yellow. If it's horns, they are going to be this blue. If it's percussions, they are going to be purple, yes, purple. And if it's other things, they are going to be on these other colors that I cannot even name. So that's how I do my initialization of the studio, the actual setup. And here you can actually tell that, I think you might have heard me yesterday, or you might have listened to me yesterday when I was talking about leaving my studio open all the time. I don't know if I did say that I always leave my studio open. Why? Because I don't want to do these setups, or the hardware setup, or the initialization of the software, which takes ages sometimes because of the time it takes to open the computer. So I prefer to leave it open so that I just, when I feel like there's something that is inspiring, then I can just go on to the studio and record that while I'm in the spirit. And so, okay, we've got our 3 tracks now, right? All our 3 tracks. Your drums, these are not real drums, which means that you can play. You remember that I said it was a blessing to have a keyboard, because with a keyboard, I can play all these 3 instruments without being a drummer, without being a bassist. By just knowing how to use the keyboard, I can play all of them. So that is another benefit of being able to play the keyboard. A friend of mine told me that at music school, KZN or wherever, they teach you keyboard technique. If you're a musician, every musician learns keyboard technique, because that's a very versatile instrument that keeps the keys, that carries everything musical in it. So every musician must be able to use it. Even if they are not proficient in it, they must be able to use it in order to to do their creations of their other instruments, or their instruments that they are proficient in. But the keyboard must be there, must be able to be something that it must be something that they are able to use, because sometimes they might want to lay chords, basic chords on their track, so that they give that to their fellow musicians who are proficient in keyboards or guitars and so on. They might use the keyboard to create the basic work for their colleagues. So it's important to know the keyboard if you are an artist, a musician, or a musical artist. So we have our 3 tracks now. They are all digital, but they give you all the sounds of acoustic instruments. And currently we have 30 bars, 30.4, but it's 30 bars. Let's just say 30 bars, right? But 30 bars at 120, and the time signature chosen is a 4/4. It's a 4/4 song, right? Right. So what else can you do? It's a 4/4 song. Another thing that GarageBand offers us is additional sounds. They are limited, but they are there. Sounds that you can use for your practices or for whatever. And you are also allowed to use them in your productions, but that depends on you, because they will limit you to a certain extent on certain things, like licenses and so on, when you want to license your music. So, but you can use it, they are free to use, and this is where you get those loops, or those sounds that you can loop in your creation, in your project. You open that, and then it opens on the right hand side a menu, and that menu has instruments. It might be piano, it might be bass, it might be guitar, harp, saxophones, horns, the whole range of horns, and other types of instruments. The genre, it also gives an option of a genre based instrument, that if you need a sound that is jazz based, then you can choose one from that menu. And then descriptors are certain kinds of sounds as well that you might want to include in your recording. Currently it shows 12-bar blues bass. It's a bass guitar. Below it shows acoustic strum. It's a guitar. If it's a strum, it's a guitar. Let me just click on it so that you can actually see that you can actually sample it before you even choose it. You can just drag it in onto your, you can drag the instrument onto your track if you decide that you want to use it. Oh, I dragged it by mistake. You see already it's there, right? It's there, and it's opened a new track. I'm going to delete it because I don't want it, right? I'm going to delete this track, right? Delete, so it's gonna go, so that I have my 3 tracks. Okay, let's go back there. Okay, let's play this track and this sound and see how it sounds like. Ah, it's a bass. Oh yeah, it is a bass. And then the second one is a guitar. Ah, it's strumming. You're strumming of your guitar. Okay, so that's basically how these free sounds are kept, where they are kept in your digital workstation. You can actually select them and enhance your music using them. I've used them a lot because they were actually good to give my music a real feel on instances where I could not find the real instrument, the real sound of the more realistic sound, yes, of an instrument. Then I'll choose those samples there And sometimes I would chop the actual sample and create a new one using those sounds so that I get a sound that is more realistic, but that is also original, using a chopped sample or loop sample. Then I create a new saxophone, a new sound of a saxophone that was never provided by Apple here. So that's a creativity that you also can utilize. I'm sure that any artist will find their way of manipulating these things and creating something beautiful and new uh, using technology, or GarageBand in this case. So we've got our 3 tracks now. And okay, I forgot to say that you've got your recording there, you've got your play there, your rewind. There's your rewind and forward buttons, and your back button that goes back to the beginning, and your loop. When you press that button, it opens an option to create a to create this to implement a loop on all these tracks, so that when they play, when these tracks when the tracks play, they play, and then once they reach this end, they go back to the beginning. It becomes like a circular loop. It keeps on repeating itself. A loop is something that repeats itself. That is a circle in English. Yes, that's what a loop is. So this is a loop in that sense as well. It keeps on repeating, keeps on repeating. It's a cycle, right? So you have to press that button in order to create a loop. Normally, I record with a loop, because when I do playback, I don't want to find myself having to press the back button all the time. It just goes to the beginning by itself without me having to keep on pressing a lot of things. So time is money. Time is precious. So we need to save it. So that's the loop, right? And then the next thing is to actually record the song. That'll be on our next video. Okay, once you have these tracks laid and they are ready for you to begin your recording of your hit song, then you have to save I like to begin with saving, although this Apple saves this automatically, but I always want to save my project. Yes, the project that I'm starting, so that I don't have to keep on creating it again. So I go to your file, save as. Even if you press save initially, it will actually be a save as, and then it will open a window where you put the project name, what you want to call your project. It's important to give names to your files. But what I've realized is that even when you give names to these files, you will sometimes change that name because you were not sure about the name of the song, and so it's not really important. The name of the file is not important, although you need to be able to save it inside the right folder. Inside the right folder. Okay, what do we have here, so that I don't show you my personal stuff? Hey, these things are tricky. Okay, what do we have there? I don't want to show you too much. Okay, we've got project 1, right? Let's call this new project experiment 2. Experiment 2. Okay, let's put this here. Experiment 2. Okay, our project is going to be called experiment 2, and we are going to save it, right? Our project is saved. File name has changed. It's experiment 2 instead of untitled track. It's experiment 2 now, right? Okay, yeah, so that's what I wanted to tell you.